Hello, grade 12, back again, and I found my problem. It wasn't anything wrong with the message DLG, I just had other problems, so I fixed them all, and it works. So where are we? We're on the delete stall. We're on delete a stall using a table component, and we need to get into our code no, into our form view. So here we go. This is the button for delete. Remember that we had a store ID and we saved it into our store integer, so we wanted to use a message DLG. So if message DLG, because we want to make sure they want to delete, are you sure you want to delete the selected stall? That's the message, and empty warning. That is basically going to have a little warning symbol, and then we have buttons MB yes, MB no, and then naught is the fourth parameter. If that is equal to MR no, then we're going to basically exit. Okay, we'll exit. We'll show a message. Show a message if they're not sure they want to delete. We'll say that nothing was deleted. It's very important to have this if you're going to delete something. And we will exit this procedure. Okay, I'm not going to worry about my spelling. Otherwise, else, we're going to go and begin the deletion. We'll say dmfate dot TBL Store dot delete, and then we will show a message that we actually also need to put in here the name of the store, so we can go do this. In our message DLG, we'll say okay, dmfate dot TBL Store square brackets store name, because we want to show them the name of the store will be deleted, and then we'll ask them, are they sure they want to delete? Okay, so that is basically a whole big message there. And then we will say TBL Store square bracket store name. Oops, we can't do that anymore. We basically better just say store, because it will be deleted, so we can't just say okay, it's been deleted. We better go and put it into a string, and don't forget the user will have clicked on the correct the one that they want to delete. They would have clicked it on it in the database grid, and we had the we had the primary key we didn't even need to get the primary key. Silly, didn't even need to do that. And then all I have to do is say stall will be deleted. See now my insert key. I'm always clicking that insert key by mistake. Are you sure? Are you sure? Better. And then we will say, and then it will be deleted. Store. And guess what else we have to do after we delete? We've got to reset everything. Now remember when we navigated to this or to the combo box, all the combo boxes have to be set up. We have to refill the combo box, so all of that has to then go and get refreshed. That one. Delete store. Yeah. Store name. Even the store name, you know, the combo boxes where we had the store name. So this is refreshing everything, and we must make sure that we have the right database grid that we are displaying. So if everything works right and you've got everything refreshed properly, let's see what happens. Now I have I added a store already here. I can add another one. I'll say note there, toys. Oh wait, store name. Let's play, and we'll make it inside. I'm going to add that store. Okay, go home, and then we're going to go to edit store, and you'll see that you'll have these two stores there, and this we choose what type we want to choose and everything. But let's go back to let's go to delete store, and then I click on that one. I say will be deleted. Are you sure? If I say yes, and then it's deleted. So we actually don't need, and as you can see it's refreshed, we don't need to actually choose the right, we don't have to go in that combo box on click event. We don't need to have that in the on click event of this on cell click. We don't need to do this, and we don't need the global variable. So that's just another way of handling it. Otherwise you go through and you loop and go and find the name of the store, etc, etc. Okay, so you have to tell the user in this instance, for this one, that you have to have a message telling them click on the store they want to delete, you know. And take note how this is not going to be refreshed. Only when you run the program then it is refreshed. As you can see now we've only got one. So every time we go to each one, we only have that one. And of course you need to get rid of that name there, and then they can choose items here. If we let's go and try this. Let's say we want to change the costs, the earnings, income. Okay, so enter only a real number in, oh, it's supposed to be enter new income. Right. Field cost not found, okay, because I made a mistake with the spelling, etc, etc. So, I know that'll work once we get it started, but I don't want to spend too much time fixing the program. This is only for you to find a basic structure that you can work with. Now, for add worker, edit worker, and delete worker, you can use queries to do that. It's very difficult to add something, but we are going to actually use text files to read the workers into the database. We can do that. We can get a text file for all the workers, and if you have a look at our database, you'll see that we have surname, first name, leader, date of birth, and now of course we have to get them to choose a stall. Which stall are they going to use? So when we insert a volunteer, we need to know what stall they're going to use. So we can go and read everything from a text file and put it in the database that way. And then for editing and deleting, we can use queries to do that. And then reports are going to be, we can use queries for that, or ADO table components. So to add a worker from a text file, so let's go and get a text file open. Get Notepad. Make sure I'm in the right place here. Start Notepad. Let's open it. Now, of course, we're going to save this Notepad file, save as. I'm going to call it. We have to go and put it into a correct. Yeah, we have to go and get it into a proper place, into the right folder, and then you can name it. I'm calling it workers. Put some surnames, Joe, comma, I'm making comma separated, so you use whatever separation you want. Maybe star. What else can we do with it? So surname, first name, and whether they're lead or not. We will use the number 1 and the date of birth. So that's a bit of a tricky one because we want to use dates for that, but we're actually going to get the user to choose their date. But there's another way. We can just type in the date. We can either choose a date or we can type a date, but we can actually let's type in a date. Okay, so what happens is the format for the date in Access needs to match the format of the date in your table. Now if you have a look at the date of birth field, you have if I had to go and put in a date here, let's go back to our home and design view. If you look at our date time, we have, this is supposed to be input mask. The short date and the input mask is actually wrong. Yeah, it's supposed to be short date. Yes, it is. Try it. Okay, there it is. So it's a year, month, and day. Okay. Finish. Year, month, and day. Fine. view, data sheet view. So if we had to put in the year, say 1995/05/21, so then that is your okay. Because the record table staff. Can I change the record? Oh, okay. Stall ID, okay, we finally use 1 and our date of birth. There it is. Okay. If I look at the stall, because I've got a relationship, you cannot put in stall IDs too. So you cannot add a table, row in the volunteer table unless you have a corresponding stall ID there. So that's going to be an issue. So that is our, I'm just going to make this larger so you can actually see the date of birth. Can you see it now? There it is. So it's year, month and day. So what we have to do is make the date look like, just like that, basically. And then we can go and add it. So you can have a whole text file with a whole lot of dates here. So then let's say if a person's not a leader, then they've got a 0, and if they are a leader, then they've got a 1. So this is just 2 names, and obviously you've got to put lots and lots of names in. So there's my workers.txt, and I'm going to go and put those in, but of course we have to go and choose a stall that they're going to work in. And in order to choose a stall, we better make sure we add a stall to our database. And I will make this one, I'll call this Mr. Pancake, and call it food stall. You can have categories as well. You can actually go and put in categories in yours also. So we've got 2 stalls so far, and then we're going to go and add workers. And when we add a worker, we've got to go and choose a stall that they're going to work at. There's no ways that they can go and work. You've got to have, in order to add a worker, you need to do that. So for every single worker that we want to put into our database from our text file, we're going to have a problem. So we'll have a separate little, you can put a panel here. So okay, we're going to add these workers from a text file, and it'll be separate to adding a single worker, and this will be read from text file. So in order to read from the text file, obviously you need a text file variable, and you need a line, and then of course you're going to break up that line into those components that we have found. So S first, and we will have to remind myself, what are the field names again? Okay, lead or not. So we need a boolean flag, B lead, and we need the date of birth, SDOB. Yes, we leave it as a string. And now we're going to go to if not file exists workers.txt. You have to put this in, then begin and end. Otherwise, we will go to assign file statement, my file, and reset it for reading, and then while not end of file. Do begin and end. Right, read ln, roll into this line, and of course we're going to copy, because we have a database which has the surname and the first name, the leader and the DOB. Of course we have to go and choose our store ID number. But first we're going to copy from this line starting at 1, and the number of characters will be the pos of the star in S line minus 1, and then oops, what is this? I've gone mad. Right, let's say S for S sir, colon equals, and then we'll delete from S line to the position of the what's the names. Oops, I really messed up here actually, big time. Woo. Gonna delete, and then we'll say S first. We'll say S first equals S first. Then you'll delete. And then we have the leader or not. So I've got to go and have another variable, S lead. What have I done now? Have I really gone mad? Yes, I have gone mad. S lead is that if S lead equals 1, then B lead colon equals true, else B lead equals colon equals false. Fine. So I've deleted S line, okay, the lead, and then what's left is SDOB equals S line. Now we've got all our bits and pieces. We can go and insert happily, but that's not going to help us, because we first have to go and choose. For each person we have to go and choose something, and well, the only way is to go and get these things into an array and go through one at a time. And for each person's name we have to decide what is going to be their where are they going to work. Well, we can either put it in an array or we can put it in a list box. I don't think an array is really going to be a good idea. Actually, an array would be a good idea, actually, because then we can look through each person's names. So the surname, the first name, the lead, and the date of birth. We have to choose their which stall they're going to work in, and the stalls need to be matched up with the actual people's names, and that's going to be the tricky part, where we're going to have the stalls displayed for each name, and there could be like 100 names. So yeah, somebody, the manager, is going to have to do this and decide to allocate, okay, that worker is going to work in that stall and that one's going to work in that stall. So that is not going to be a computerized thing. The person has to choose which stall they want to work in. We didn't have the stall in the text file, so there's different ways of handling it. If we look at our text file, where is our text file? Okay. So there's the workers.txt. We didn't have a stall that they want to work in because we want to choose it for them. We're going to say, okay, now that person's going to work in that stall, and whether they're a worker or a leader, and that's also the issue there. So we are going to do one of two things. We can either put the names into an array, and then we have to have parallel arrays for all the other items. This is the combo box. This is the panel for reading from the text file. So we can either put all the names into array and then have parallel arrays for date of birth and lead. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 arrays which will be parallel. And what are we going to do with that? Well, one at a time we have to choose the name, and the person has to go and allocate a stall for it. Well, we can display all the names in list box. What we have here is it's an array. Let's go and look at this, what the list box looks like. List box, there it is. It's like a combo box. It's actually a bit like a rich edit almost, but it's got numbered items like a combo box. And yeah, so I think an array would be a good idea, a whole lot of parallel arrays. So, and then we'll go and put the names in the list box. So ARR first colon array 1, 2, well there could be hundreds, maybe 200 of string. We have to decide what is the maximum number of people will be working. ARR lead colon array 1 to 200 of Boolean, and then ARR DOB, and it could also be ARDOB. So there's 4 arrays. I'll just put it in. ARDOB. It's 3 arrays that are the same types of data, but they're 3 different arrays. And of course, so I've gone a bit crazy here. So of course our count will be our number of people. It'll be the counter for all 3 arrays, and they're all parallel, so we're going to have to do a big sorting story going on, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is go increment our count, and when we read from the text, we'll put it in the array because we know we've got it in memory. ARR so I could have actually just done that. Yeah, let's do that rather. we increment our counter when we read. Our count better be 0 before we start reading. Increment the count for each line, and then I'll just say ARR sir square brackets our count. Instead of getting a variable for each one, just go and say the array name equals that. ARR first square brackets our count, and ARR lead. I can't do that. I've got to use S lead because my lead is an array of Boolean. So then I'm going to say ARR lead square brackets our count equal to true, else ARR lead square brackets our count equals false. And then ARR DOB equals this line. Now you better go and delete the variables that you're not using. Be very careful. So I'm not using SDOB, and I am not using SO and S first, but I am using S lead. And there we have it. So we increment our, get our counter to 0, increment the counter, read the line, and then we go and separate all the things, put them into corresponding array boxes for the particular items, and then we know that the array is filled with all those items. So this is for filling the array. Now over here I'm going to display the items in the list box. And for each person's list box we're going to choose which stall they belong to, and we need a combo box for them to choose a stall. Okay. Or we could actually have an edit box where the person's name will be displayed. Okay. So that'll be the name for the person. In fact, I didn't need to go and do that, but this is read from a text file. I don't know why I put it on a panel. Oh, okay, we can go put it all on the panel then. Now I'm going to have to make this panel very big so I can see where I put the other thing. Where on earth is the other one? Oh, there it is. Just take away the caption of the panel, guys. Seriously. If you don't do that, then there's going to be an issue. You have to basically realize that's what you're going to have to do. So I've got this edit box here. I'm going to put the name of the person in there. That combo box is going to be filled with all the stalls, so we better give it a name. Name property stall worker. I'm going to give it a different name. We've already got another combo box called CMB store. So I'm calling it CMB store worker, and then obviously the text property should be cleared. You can't have a messy thing. And when we go to this, we navigate to this TBS ad worker, we need to fill up that combo box. So guess what? We are going to fill it up with this. And okay, TBL navigate, we have to fill that, and this is going to be CMB stall worker. CMB stall. Did you see how I did that? You highlight everything. I want to change the CMB stall to CMB stall worker, but it is in a couple of places, and to save time I highlight everything, then click on this edit sync mode button, and then when I type CMB stall worker it changes in the other places. It saves a lot of time. So we've done that. So the stall names are all in the combo box, and you can just choose a stall name for each worker when we want to add it from the text file. So this is our big panel that's doing the job here. Let's change the size. I don't need it that big. And in this button click, we went through the text file, got all the stall workers, and now we're going to use a for loop and go through each array, each box of the array, and we're going to display the surname and the first name in the edit box each time. So let's see how that's going to work. So we're going to use a for loop counter k for k equals 1 2 1 2 I count do begin and end. You can say edit 1 dot text colon equals we're going to say ARR first, square brackets K, and join that to a space, and ARR sir, square brackets K. Now because that will be displayed, we're then going to ask the user to select a stall, and then we're going to we want to slow the processor down because we have to application.process messages. We have to basically let the user select a stall, but when they do that, the for loop, obviously we know that the processor runs at speed, so let's see what happens when you do this. Why is this not working? Okay, what was that? I'm just fixing a few errors. SLead. SLead is a string. Okay, this is supposed to be inverted commas. ARDOB. Oh, square brackets. Silly me. I can't. Right. So when we go to add a work, field stall name not found. Break. Okay, so TBL Store. Stall name not found. That's nonsense. Stall name is there. because if I go and edit a store, I can definitely find the store name there too. If I go to the add a worker, doesn't like it. TBL Store. TBL Store name not found. Right. Run program reset. So that CMB called store worker combo box. Because we didn't connect to the table, see? We have to actually go because we connected to the volunteer table here, TBL Store. It's supposed to be TBL, what's the name? Yeah. Did something wrong there. So this TBL Store shouldn't be called TBL Store, but yeah, okay, we're going to sort that out now. What we have to do is, when we connect to the worker table, it's different. It's a different TBL component, not so. If you look at our thing, you'll see it's TBL Volunteer. So we have to say TBL Volunteer and then Volunteer table. Control C, Control V. This is going to be TBL Volunteer. And then it's got to be the volunteer table. But of course, when you want to go to the stall table to go and get all the stalls and put them into the combo box, get all the stall names into the combo box. To get the stalls into the combo box, we have to get to the stall table. Okay, so we've done that. Over here, the TBL Volunteer table must be the T80 table. Then you also have to connect to two tables while we are busy with this add worker, because of the fact that we have to go and choose a foreign key, a store ID from the stall table. So it makes it a lot more complex to go and add an actual volunteer. So yeah, getting more complicated now. So this will work now. I'm just trying to demonstrate how we're going to do it. Add worker, and okay, there is one worker that's hasn't got a name. So you see now that there's the store. So when you click that, we said select a store. Well, we can't, because what's going to happen? Okay, there's the first name there. We have to basically have a process messages thing. Basically, we have to pause and process. So that's not going to actually work. So when we go through the array one at a time, it's actually better to go and put them all into a what's the name? Yeah, we first go and get them from the array, and then over here we can go and put them not into an edit box but into a I'm just going to go and paste this back onto the original place where I wanted it, over there. This button can stay on this panel even though I don't even need the button. Let's get rid of it. Edit, cut, and I'm going to click on the page and edit and paste. That's how you move things from one component, like say from the panel to the tab sheet or to the form. So this button will read from all the text files. I'm going to rather use a list box or combo box. We can use a combo box. Come on, combo box. So we're going to fill this combo box with the names of the people, and then we're going to choose a corresponding stall, and then we'll click the thing. Now, of course, when we choose the person's name from the combo box, so we're going to fill the combo box up with the items. So it'll be combo box 1 dot items dot add, and then we will put in the surname and the name and whether they're a lead or not. So what we could do is we could have an edit box which says leader, or a label of some sort to signify that this person's a leader. So okay, we'll say label 1 label 1 dot caption, label 1 dot caption will be equal to a leader, else label 1 dot caption will be equal to the worker. So I'm only going to do this if ARR lead square brackets K equals true, then remember we're going through the array one at a time, and the corresponding, the parallel arrays will be there. Okay, so we will choose each time, and if we have a look now, when I want to add a worker, and I click this button, and then you'll see the names there, John Doe, let's play. So we can choose. If I choose for Yeswa, then it's, well, they're both leaders. Oh my soul, I didn't know they were both leaders. I thought Joe Doe was not a leader. If I look at my text file, I'm sure I made, oh, that's a naught. Joe is a naught. So if S lead is that, oh leader, I can't, it's supposed to work. Anyway, you can make it work, get the idea. I'm just trying to get a general idea going here. So what's going to happen is you first read everything from the text file, put it into a whole lot of boxes of the array, parallel arrays, and we go through, use our counter, a for loop counter, from 1 to the number of names that we actually recorded from the text file, display the first name and the surname in the combo box so the person can choose a name from the combo box, and then see if they're a leader or not, because the caption will basically, oh wait, yeah, no, that's not going to work, that's not going to work. We have to choose another, that method won't work. We actually have to put in the combo box that they are a lead or not. So if ARR lead square brackets K equals true, then we're going to display the combo box that they are a leader, okay, in some fancy format or another. else we will display we're going to display that they are worker. Not that leaders don't work, but they're just organizers. Obviously leaders work probably a whole lot more. So we're going to click this button first, and then we can see that. So we're going to choose one of those, and then we're going to choose a stall, and then we'll click another button where they can then go and add. So this button will be the add button, so we're going to do that first. Then we choose these two things. So this is going to be our read from the text file, and this is going to be the actual adding button. Because we've got the arrays already sorted, they'll be there in this button. Oops. Guess what, guys? These arrays are in this button click event. They actually need to be global. Yeah. Forgot about that, eh? These need to be global arrays because we're going to use them in another button click event. So let's go and put them as global arrays. Yeah, I can't go on integer. That's better. Because we have to use them in other button, this button over here. So this one is reading from the text file into arrays, this one is using the arrays, and of course when you choose from there, you know, we've got to go find that person's name in the array. So this is just filling up the combo box, it's not actually doing anything else. We still got to choose the correct CMB store worker. Now, to make it easy, we will use a what's the name? A query to insert. Although it's actually even more difficult. A little bit more difficult. Right. We'll give it a go. So combo box 1 is going to have the names of the people, and this combo box CMB store worker will be the name of the store. So here we go. S first and S yep, we've got to go and get that all over again. Of course we've got to find the corresponding name in the so S line is going to be our combo box name, combo box. So S line will be equal to our combo box choice for this combo box 1 here, combo box 1 dot text. And we've got to copy the first name and the surname. Remember that, how did we join it together? We put in the, yeah, I know, there probably isn't a different way to do it. There's lots of different ways. We had the first name, space, and the surname. So, S first, copy from S line, and 1, and the pos of the space in S line -1, and then we will delete just like we did in our text file. We're not going to worry about whether that leader and not leader or worker is not going to be something you're going to worry about, because just now we don't need it because we have our parallel array, remember, of well, the leaders and not leaders. So we got our surname and okay Was there a space after that? That's the question. Ah, that's the question. Was there a space after the surname? What did we put after the surname? We put in sir. We actually should put a space. Yeah, we need a space because we're going to do the pos of the space. Okay. So then when we go and read from that combo box line, we see we have got the pos of the space. That's fine. We don't need it to do any more than that. What we're going to do now is we're going to go through the array using a while loop, and we will use our Boolean flag, and I'm going to set b k equal to 0 and b found equal to false. Then we say while k is less than or equal to, or whatever I count, and b found equals false. We want it to stop when we find a match. That's just to make sure that our algorithm is efficient and not using too much processor time unnecessarily by going through every single one. And that's what programmers have to do, to make sure we've got efficient algorithms to solve the problem, not waste memory, not waste processor time. So now we're going to say if ARR sir square brackets k equals s sir and ARR first square brackets k equals s first, then we'll have a match. And of course it's very infuriating that we have to put brackets around these two conditions every time, but that's what we do, eh? And then begin and end. Well, then we've got everything. We set b found equal to true, and then we've got to go and match up and go and add because we've got to go and get the, what are the other arrays? We have the ARDOB, these global ones, remember? ARDOB and AR lead, a Boolean. But we also have to get the stall ID, the stall ID, CMB stall worker. So, CMB stall worker. Right. Now we're going to go do a with dm fate do begin and end. We're going to go and find the stall ID. Yeah, that's going to be the problem. Stall. Get the stall ID, and we'll have to go through this. So we say TBL Store dot first, and hopefully the TBL Store is connected so, but not be. So we're going to do this TBL Store table name equals stall, and stall TBL Store dot active equals true. Yeah, and then while not TBL Store dot end of file do begin and end, and then we say if TBL Store square brackets install name equals cmb install worker dot text. What is that? That is this thing here, the CMB store worker that the person chose, that they want their TBL, the person to work at. Then we say store colon equals TBL store square brackets stall ID. I'm hoping that is right. And then we have, but we mustn't forget about TBL store dot next. If we don't do the dot next, then we're not going to the next row of the table. Not there. Now, I didn't go and put a B found, a boolean flag here to stop the loop. I really, you can go and do that, but I just didn't feel like it. We have to get another BF. Okay, BF for best friend. I really don't feel like a BF equals false. Okay. We have to go and do this. And BF equals false. Do. And then over here we're going to do begin and end. It's terrible, isn't it? BF colon equals true. Now the thing is, we know that it's going to work, Bastard. Because if we find, the what's this name? Jeepers. So we're a loop within a loop here, okay? We stop this loop, then it's going to go to the next one. It doesn't really matter, but just leave it like this is fine. Seriously. We must make sure we're in the right place here. Because in this while loop, this is the while loop to go through TBL Store. This is if that is true. And then this is the end of the while loop. And what's this? This is the end of the with statement. You do need to put comments in everywhere. In fact, you'll lose a lot of marks if you don't put your comments in. And you have to actually, put comments in for this button. What is it doing? What are we doing over here? What are we doing over here? What is this? You've got to write a comment for every little bit of work that you are doing in your code. And this is the end of using the data module. This is the end of the while loop through the arrays. I forgot to increment a counter. Did you see that, guys? Increment a counter. Increment K. My K is my for loop, my while loop counter. I've got to increment K. Check box number 1 first. So if it is true, then we got that. So after this while loop, if B found equals false, then begin and end no show message. So it actually can be quite tricky over here. We've also got to have a BF here. If BF equals false, then show message. else are we going to do? You know? So so we're going through the we've got the combo box, we get the first name and the surname, and we're going through and we're matching it up with the arrays of surnames and first names. If we find it, then we know we've got that particular box number K for all those arrays. We've got to keep K. K is going to be the one that we're going to use to go to get the contents of the other arrays in that parallel array system. And when we get that other items, before we get to the next box, we do need to then go and use that K to go and insert. And we're going to have to use a with statement again. And this is the end of the with. This is the end of the while loop to go through the stall. This is the end of this with DM. End of using the data module. Actually, there's a lot of begins and ends here. And this is the end of using the other data module. Oh, it's not actually. It's not. Do you see that? It's not. And sometimes if you print out your code, you can actually see where you actually went wrong. So this is the end of while loop going through the stall table. This is why comments are so important in your program. So and this is a while. There's only one while loop here. There's two whiles. A loop, while loop within a while loop. There's a data module over here. If I had to get rid of that, then I would have to put DM. I could actually go and do this thing. I'm going to say with DM fate do begin, and then right over here we'll have the end. Okay. So then you have to make sure that we are, and this is the begin and the end of if statement. This is not the end of using the data module. It's actually the end of the if statement, because if, no, it's not the end of the if statement. Yeah, it is the end of the if statement. If end of if statement. And inside here, if the surname is equal to that, then we're going to do all of those things, and this is the end of the while loop. Yeah, this is the end of using the data module. So because I've got the with data module all the way at the top there, when I get to this part in the if statement, if you find a match of the surname and the first name, we then have to go and use the other items of the array using K, box number K, because remember this while loop. In this if statement, we're going to go here, not where the while loop is. This is the end of the while loop. Okay, we don't want there, no. End of the if statement. We are going to, but remember the while loop will stop. B found is false. So yeah, so if we find it, then we've got to say B found equals true, but that K needs to be kept safe. We need to actually use K, you see. So if we do find it, we don't have to worry about that. K is going to be our number, and what I'm going to do, because don't forget that K will be naught, if the item is 1, so there it is, bfound will be true, we will get our iStall. Okay, if iStall is true, yeah, that's a different thing altogether, isn't it? So I don't even have to put it in here. So I'm going to move this out of here, because I'll have K as being my little, what's the name? Control X. This is a whole different ball game, isn't it? No. This. Okay, so what happens in this while loop is that all we have is bfound equals true, and K is going to be our marker to get the other items from the array. K is not going to change its value. Okay, starts at 0. If the surname and the first name is in box number 2, say, okay, then this bfound true will make sure the while loop will stop. Okay, so our K will be our number 2. It's not like a for loop that increments after the loop, but it will stay 2. So now all we have to do is go and get the items and put them into our I'm not going to worry about this too much. Did I click my insert key again? So ridiculous. Sweet. Oh. So if K is going to be our number for our array, so we've got ARR SIR, ARR first, our global variables, ARR lead, ARR DOB. We're going to use all of those for inserting. And yeah, using a query to insert doesn't actually work so well, so I'm going to use ADO table component. I know. Right, so it's a TBL Volunteer dot insert. TBL Volunteer square brackets, and we have to get the spelling correct. Surname, first name, leader, DOB, and store ID. So you get the idea now. I know it was a bit of a mess, so to speak. Don't forget about the dot post. So this will be surname, first name, what's the next one? Lead. And then we'll have the DOB. And then we'll have the store ID. And that is not AR SIR, it's store. And where do we get it from? Over there. So we do actually want this to stop if we can't find the stall. If we can't find the name of the person, we want the procedure to stop. And there it is. So that algorithm will work pretty good for me, but of course we do need to refresh our display and everything. So where we were at add worker, this is what we will do. And of course we're also going to no, we're not going to refresh the stalls because we haven't changed them. Control C. And you might remember that, so it's over here. There it is. That over here in this button to edit a stall, you see we did that there. We need to refresh all the stalls. Like for instance, if you have another combo box where you're going to display the stall names, then you need to refresh those as well. So I'm going to copy and paste that code into this edit stall section. And maybe into delete a stall too, because when we delete a stall, no, what happened with delete a stall? Yeah, we didn't choose one. Okay, so there we have it. So, oh no, we can try it. It's probably not gonna work. Oh well. Okay, what? Missing operator semicolon. B found colon. If you're going to actually say something, you have to put a colon in front of it. If you're going to make a statement like error or lead. Can you believe it, guys? I think it actually works. btn add worker. Okay, let's read from the text file. Let me go over here. Let's choose. Okay, Joe Doe is a worker. Let's put him in Mr. Pancake. Right, no name found. Oh, great. Right, Viola, Uber, worker. Let's put him in Let's Play. No name found. Okay, so we had a problem with not finding the name. So that just means that when we went and read them from the text file and put them into the array, either or the names, the combo box section, I think when we put it into the combo box it didn't actually work. So if we go and look here in this button click event, okay, so we read from the text file. If I look carefully, you can see that as you can see, then we first got to read and then we can go here. So Joe Doe is there, Wilhelm Gruber is there. I think I know what it is. It was the surname first, because I swapped it around in the combo box. I put the first name and then the surname, and then when I read from that, I'm actually saying first. Then I said yes, so yeah, I did do that right. Yeah, I did that right. Interesting. The way you can actually do this is you can actually go and a good way is to go and trace. So I want to trace this and this. I want to see what the first name and the surname is after I've copied them from the combo box. Because over here you're basically saying that we never find it. That's what we're basically saying here. No name found. When you run the program, remember what happened here? This is how you can trace into your things. Okay, so I do that, and then I choose Jodo, and I choose a store, and I click on button. It says no name found. So for some reason we couldn't find the name. So if I go to this combo box, so it's obviously happening after we read from the combo box, which is this button over here. So S first, I want to trace S first and S third and see what they are. So I'm going to say run. I click on the name, and then I say run and add watch. And I click OK. Okay, read of address for some unknown reason. Access violation. Well, let's run program reset. Why won't it let me add a watch? Darn it, cancel. Okay, S sir. Run. Add watch. Okay, I click OK. Now where's my, my watch list is down here. Now you can move the watch list up a bit, like that. So you can see there's S first and there's S third. So we can see it, and I've got to right click on there and say stay on top. Right click on stay on top, okay. So you click on a variable name, you say run add watch. So I'll click on that, run add watch, so we can actually trace this now. You'll see how we do it. You click on F7 on the keyboard, and that starts the program, and you click F7, and basically it's the processor in slow motion. Okay, now it's asking us, it wants us to go and click on an option, so I'm going to click on that one. Now you can see we are now tracing through one line at a time by clicking F7. On the left hand side here is the names. So I click F7 and fine, everything's fine. As you can see, there's your variables on the left hand side there. We can see what we're looking at, and CB store is not add, so it's adding. Okay, luckily we only got a few lines of data to worry about, otherwise it would take forever to trace through this, as you can see. Yeah, so this is the nasty part where we have to take a while. Okay, now it's asking us to click another button. So we've got to click this one, remember? So we'll do that. Now it's going through the text file. And luckily there's only 2 lines. Now we're going through the for loop and we're adding lines to the combo box. And now it's going to wait. You can't press F7 anymore, and it's waiting for us to choose here. So I'm going to choose that, I'm going to choose that. I click the button, and now we're going into that button, click event. Now we're going to look for these names here. So S line, let's see what S line is. S line is that, okay. What is S first? Yeah, it's Joe. What is S sir? Oops, S sir did not come up, did it? Ah, I can see where the problem is right now. See how this is how you can solve your problem. Look what I did there, guys. So dumb. Delete. There's the problem right there. Delete. Now we should be able to get it. Let's see now. Got to click that one to read from the text file, and then choose. Oops. Field lead. Leader. Okay, obviously I spelled wrong there. Leader. Right. Leader. Okay. Where are you? Oh, there you are. So run program reset, guys. Run program reset. And then leader. Okay, so we can do it. that one, choose the name of the person, choose the thing, and there it is. And now we're going to choose Uber, and then we're going to choose the pancake, and there it is. So that was a bit of a mouthful, so we will do more another time, and I hope you enjoy your day.